Okay, class, so welcome again to your Fall Field Seminar course. My name is Kate McCormick. I am your instructor. I'd like to jump right into looking at the expectations. I know that you took a syllabus course quiz, so the expectation is that you have read the syllabus, you understand the syllabus, and you know what the expectations are. So I like to go right into Canvas and I start on the syllabus tab. This gives us a list. Not only is the syllabus available for you to print, but you can also access each assignment from this tab. So each of the required readings, you can click on the assignment to access it and then click into the description to be able to access each of the readings and each of the forms. So that should load up as a PDF, and there's the field manual. This is being updated right now. I know there were a couple of questions regarding that. The only thing that will be different are the 9 competencies. In the years past, we had 10. Now there are 9. So that will be the only change. There's also the safety and social work settings that was required as a reading, but I will go over that as well in a PowerPoint presentation for you today. So let's go back to assignments. And then, like I said, I like to look at it from the syllabus tab. It's just easier for me because it lists it in as far as due dates go. You've all done, I believe, your student introductions, so you understand how the discussion board works at this point. By this point, you should have taken your syllabus field policy quiz. There will be an assignment attached to these presentations since we missed the first class, and that will make up the attendance points for the grades for the attendance that we missed due to the storm. I will post the missed class database or discussion. But you're moving right in, so we will have 5 discussion posts throughout this semester. For those of you looking to potentially have a credit for the missed hours during the hurricane, you should have uploaded a copy of your log of hours. Let's look at the field report. We have 3 field reports that are due throughout the semester. Your first one is due on September 17th. Each of these forms is a Word document, so you can click on it again in the description to access the form. And then that will provide you with this Word document. And I will pull that over so we can all look at it together. Please type this form. It needs to have the date, so the beginning of your field seminar until the 17th of September will be the dates covered by the report. You need to include the agency, your field educator, the dates and time that you had supervision each week. Notice that it asks if you have any problems that you need to discuss with me. Please do not wait for me to respond to this form. If you have a problem or a concern that you need to discuss with me, please email me directly or reach out to me by phone. Part of the field seminar journal or this log that you're providing is we want to know what kind of activities you have been doing since you've been in your placement. So remember that micro is the individual level, meso are your groups, and macro is your community events. So from a perspective of a micro, I want you to quantify each activity, which means give me a number. So if you completed 6 intakes per week, that's fine. If you conducted 3 intakes and 3 supportive sessions with individuals, that's fine. But I would like to know how many. And you can do it as a total for the entire time span, or you can do it by the week. So like I said, 3 sessions per week. So that would be times 3 weeks. The meso would be groups or family interactions. Again, I want that quantified to the best of your ability. So I recognize that some groups may vary in number, and that is fine. But if you say, well, I'm running 2 psychoeducational groups per week, with an average of 6 to 10 participants. That is completely fine as well. And you can tell me what kind of group it is that you're servicing. Are they adults with disabilities? Are they children who are having behavioral issues? So what kind of group is it that you're doing, and what is the focus? Your macro experiences are going to be, what are you doing to impact the greater community, or the community as a large, as a whole? So some students tell me, well, we don't do any macro work. You are going to be required to participate in some type of macro activity. So that could be doing some research on the policies that are impacting the clients or the populations you're serving. It might be making a phone call or writing a letter to state legislators to advocate on behalf of your client population for funding or resources, or policy changes. So make sure that this could be a board meeting, this could be a community action meeting. So there's a lot of different things that you could do, and it does not necessarily have to be related to the population that you're working with. I would just like for you to have some level of understanding of the macro work and what that entails and what that looks like and what it might mean for you. Going on, I would like for you to provide me some information as far as what's happening that's been good for you during this time frame, any challenges you might have. I would like for you to identify any ethical or value dilemmas you might have faced. It could have been you personally, or it could be something that you observed with one of your coworkers or your instructor, that type of thing. And then I would like for you to provide me with your learning objectives for the next week or two, really for the next couple of weeks that are going to be covered by the next field report. So these need to be typed and then uploaded into Canvas. At this point, you should have already found the log of hours. Again, this document is here. I have it in the hurricane section, but I also have it in the original log of hour due date. This is something that you will complete each week, and that will be initialed by your supervisor. So I would like for you to add the hours that you worked that week, in addition to the total number of hours as you add them up each week. So you should have numbers in each column here, as well as your supervisors, the dates that you had supervision and the time, and your field supervisor's initials. At the end of this, at the end of the semester, your field supervisor is actually going to sign this form here, and you will sign it with them, and then that will be uploaded to Canvas for me, because this goes in your permanent file. So moving right along, we do have a couple of pretty big assignments. The discussion posts are important, but the activities that seem to create the most anxiety for students is the competency-based learning contract. So the competency-based learning contract is based on the 9 competencies that you are required to meet in order to be successful in this program. So I'm pulling up the contract and what we call our cheat sheet to give you a little bit of extra guidance on this. The contract is completed in conjunction with your field supervisor, because they know the agency and they know the types of learning activities that you're going to be required to have access to be able to meet each of these competencies. So as we look at it, the competencies are really a skill-based learning process. So we want to know what it is, not only what you know, but what can you do. And so for each competency, you're going to notice that there are several practice behaviors. So we can see here for competency 1, the student will demonstrate ethical and professional behavior. Well, what does that look like? What are the practice behaviors that you will display for your supervisor and for us to know that you are demonstrating that competency? So there are several practice behaviors here. The first one makes ethical decisions by applying the standards of the NASW Code of Ethics, relevant laws and regulations, models for ethical decision making, and additional codes of ethics as appropriate. So when we think about that, what could you do to measure your skill or this practice behavior? How will we know that you understand this and that you do this? So we can look over here at our cheat sheet and think, okay, so what activity might help us to better model that or measure that? So for this one, it might be something that you submit a journal entry or a journal article, or maybe you do some research on the code of ethics, the models for decision making. So here you could put in here research, journal entry, or maybe even supervisor discussion. And that would be, any of those would be an appropriate measure for that practice behavior. So looking at the next one, we say, okay, how do we know that the student uses reflection and self-regulation to manage personal values and maintain professionalism in practice settings? Again, this is a good one that could be utilized by supervisor feedback. Then we move right on down to the next one, which is how do we know that you're demonstrating professional demeanor in your behavior? How are you presenting yourself? How are you responding to clients? This could be measured by client feedback. These are just examples. So of course, if there's something else here that you feel might fit better, then feel free to pick another measure. The key here is that you have a measure for each practice behavior. And what is very important for you to remember about this is how you will be evaluated. You have a midterm and a final evaluation, and it is based on these competencies and these practice behaviors. So you need to make sure that you are reviewing this with your supervisor in supervision, making sure that you're meeting your goals and your competencies so that you can successfully graduate from this program. Once the learning contract is complete, you will sign it in this form. So I want everything typed in except the first page, which is where you will submit signatures. So you will sign it and your field instructor will sign it, and you will scan and upload that into Canvas for me. The rest of the document, again, needs to be typed in a Word format, just as it is here. So back on our syllabus tab, you're going to see, as I said, there are several due dates for different activities. So your field report is September 17th. I want a copy of your log of hours on September 24th, along with your competency-based learning contract. So that is going to be due before we meet. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. If you would like to come in, we can meet. So our next face-to-face meeting is on October 15th. Your second field report and your midterm evaluation will be due at that point. The midterm is going to be located in IPT. It is completed electronically by your supervisor, and then you will go in and sign it electronically and upload a copy of that to Canvas for me. Our next class, I'm going to go over the organizational exploration and assessment, or the agency presentation, with you to give you more information. So we have some time after our meeting to be able to do that. Please pay close attention to your due dates. That will impact your grade in this course. You are required to turn things in on time. It is a demonstration of your professional behavior in the classroom as well as out of, which will impact you.